which is flexibility. Let's start out with a nice dynamic warm-up. Trunk rotation is what we're starting with. I want you to keep your feet planted, but those knees are slightly bent to decrease some pressure in the back. Naturally get that back to loosen up as we go through that twist. We get that rotation, letting our elbow come across the midline. You can look into the mirror and twist at the trunk as an option too, as far as the head swinging back and forth, if that is too much for you. On the next one, we're going to bring our feet a little closer together. We're going to work on a knee pull to continue to loosen up that lower back and also the glute area. Let's go into one more rotation to your right. Switching our stance, we bring our feet together, keeping our chest up. We're grabbing the knee, alternating, pulling the knee up to the chest, and also keeping our shoulders above the hips. So we want to avoid dropping down to make that stretch happen. Try to stay upright, promoting good posture, good form, and take your time throughout these movements. You can work at your pace. If you feel like you want to hold that knee pull a little longer, right? We all have different spots and different flexibility in areas that we want to work on. So take your time through this dynamic warm-up. Just getting some blood pumping and heart rate up throughout the movement. We're going to bring our feet together for our last one. We're going to press the heel into the floor, and you're going to kick the toes up, feeling that stretch in the hamstring, come up to a standing position, and switch. So what we're really doing is just hinging. All right, as much as you're going to feel those hamstrings, you probably feel those calves as well. If it's too much to touch the toes, you can bring the hands to the waistline, but just focus on pressing back. What we're doing is really just separating, getting that hamstring to lengthen as we go through. Here's our last one on the right side, all the way up to a standing position, and time. All right, I'm going to give you some time to get down to the floor because the first half of this, or more than half, is down in this position. So maybe you have a mat or just taking it down to the floor. We're going to start you out on our first stretch, right? We're all the way down, body is straight. We're going to focus on our left hamstring. So we're going to go through a series of stretches, focusing on the right leg. What we'll do is reach up, you're interlocking your fingers behind the leg. Once you have your grip, you're taking it down, head to the floor. We're going to feel that stretch in your hamstring. We're also going to work on a little breathing technique as well. I'll let you know our second exercise will be a piriformis stretch. We're going to cross that ankle over to the other knee. We'll grab underneath behind the other leg, and we'll feel that stretch on our left glute. So let's get through those two first. Starting with your hamstring, kick the left leg up, interlock your fingers, make sure you establish your grip, and we take it down to the floor. So let's try to, as we start this stretch out, decrease tension in the rest of the body. I know we have that grip there on the leg, right? We focus on the hamstring, but try to relax those shoulders as much as possible. That bottom foot is neutral. We don't have to worry about flexing or pointing those toes. And we just have a nice, relaxed breathing pattern, allowing our body to relax so we can really get that muscle to lengthen, specifically the hamstring on this first one. Getting that nice pull back. If you feel like you can pull that leg a little closer to the chest, go ahead and do that. In 5 seconds, you're going to make that transition that I quickly demonstrated to get the piriformis. Go ahead and cross that ankle over to your right knee. Let's reach through underneath that right leg. Once you grab and establish your grip, you're pulling that knee up. But you're going to feel this again on the cross leg, the one on top. You feel this in the left glute. You also have an option to grab here. If that grip is a little too much for you, if you feel too much tension in the shoulders, we can take this placement where the left hand is outside of the knee, the right hand is right on the shin, and you're just driving that knee, again, feeling that stretch in the glutes. Our next one, we're going to be sitting up in about 10 seconds. We're going to stretch the calves out. Again, we're going to focus out on that left leg in this series. Don't worry, we're going to get to that right side as well, just allowing time to get through. So what we're going to do is sit on up. I want you to reach down with your left hand, pull up on the toes on the left side. You're going to feel that stretch in your calf. You can bring the hand out to the side to give you a little bit of support. All right, but we're pulling the toes up. Again, you feel this running up the back of the left leg. If it's too intense for you to reach, you can even bring your hands here. Just flex the toes up on the left side, kind of keeping that right foot neutral, and feel that calf stretching out on that left side. Again, that full version is reaching through to get a little assistance with your pull. You have 10 more seconds. I'll show you how you'll transition over to your hip on the right side. We're going to rest the head. You'll reach back and grab the ankle. Let's make that transition now. So again, from that seated position, go ahead and drop down to the hip. We're going to bring the right hand back, acting as a pillow, and pulling that left heel up. This is your last stretch in this series. All right, if you feel that hip flaring up, we want to try to fight impinging in that area. So drop it a little lower, pulling the arm back, and really letting that head rest. We want to feel that pressure off the neck. Again, anytime we're stretching out, of course, we have that arm helping us out here. We want to really maximize and feel that stretch in the quad. We don't want to feel too much tension in the rest of the body taking over for this stretch. Just really pulling that heel up. We have a few more seconds. We'll have a little reset. And we're going to take this series over to the other side in 2, 1. All right, so now we get a little transition All you have to do is take it back to that position, dropping down to the back. I'm just going to switch sides and kind of keep things even as far as visuals and what we're doing to start out. We will be on that right leg. Remembering how we started, we grab behind that leg, we get that grip, interlocking, and we pull the head back in 2, 1. Let's go ahead and start out on that right side with your hamstring. As I mentioned on that first round, relaxing your shoulders, trying to decrease tension as much as you can in the rest of the body so we can really focus on that hamstring right here in the back of that leg on that right side. You're breathing, consistent, right? Just inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Maybe we try to get a bigger pull, bringing that leg closer to the upper body. That way that hamstring gets to extend a little bit more. As we get ready for our transition, remember that we cross our ankle over to the opposite knee in 4, 3, 2, 1. We cross our right ankle over to that left knee, interlocking behind that leg and dropping down. Once you establish your grip, you go ahead and relax the head. All right, give you that second option as far as your grip. Now our right hand is outside of that right leg, left hand is on top of the shin. But the focus is still driving that bottom knee. That's going to get that foot, that glute area on the right side. Your foot is already in that angle to help you get to that stretch or that position. So you can really feel that, as I call that stretch there in the piriformis, right in that back pocket, if you will. Really good stretch from all the work we do here with lunges and squats and everything else. Really feel this loosening up. As we get ready to go into that seated position for your calf stretch in 2, 1, we can bring the legs down, coming up. Now we are reaching down for that right foot. We're pulling up on the toes, feeling that stretch in the calf. We can bring this hand to the side here. Again, maybe pulling is too much, too intense for you, and that's okay. You just bring your hands to the side and simply flexing your toes up gets you to go into extension in the back of the leg. So maybe that's enough for you. Listen to your body. You don't want to overdo it with a stretch. All right, so if this pull is doing the job, let's stick with that. Again, that first option is pulling up with the hand, getting that assistance so that calf stretches out. And in about 5 seconds, we'll transition over to the left hip. The left hand goes behind the head. That right hand reaches back for the right ankle, and we pull the heel this way here. We pull back. So going to the glute, you're going to feel that stretch running through the front of the leg. Again, check in with the hip. Do you feel like your hip is really tight here, kind of flexing? Lower the knee down and then pull back. So you can reset your stretch. All right, so we can focus on the quad and not really just getting so much flexion in the hip that it takes away from us feeling our stretch in the quadricep. Now, this is our last one in this series. We will work our way up to a standing position. We'll have time to transition. So enjoy this last 10 seconds in this leg series down on the floor. I'll show you how we're going to take it up and get to a few upper body stretches as well. Counting us down in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release that leg. We're going to bring our body over. Prone position. All right, so our chest is to the floor. You're going to walk your feet out a little bit. And we're going to press our body up. Take your time. Maybe we need to peel from the knees. And then up. We're going to walk ourselves back. All right, once you get to this position, you can slowly take it up to a standing position where your shoulders are to hips. I'm going to come to the mirror, kind of meet you and set you up for your next series. Again, we're going to focus on the upper body now. So what we'll do is we're going to bring our feet shoulder width apart. We'll bring our left hand up. What we'll do with this right hand is bring it over for a lat stretch. I'm going to give you a few options here, 2 options on this one here. This here, similar to that calf stretch, how you have that assistance. And if that's not needed, if this stretch is enough for you, you can bring your hand right here to the waistline and take it there. So here's your transition. Either you're grabbing that left wrist and pulling over. Make sure we're going straight over to the side. Option 2, this reach is probably enough for you. You can bring your hand to the waistline here, and you're really getting that extension through your lats, your obliques. Let's maintain that position. Now I'm going to talk you through a few things here. Remember about your breathing. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Also, in this position, even though that arm is coming up, I want you to pull that shoulder back. We don't want to shrug, kind of let that shoulder collapse in the ear. Get a little retraction, right, as you pull through, so we really get that stretch in your lats. We'll continue to work that left side. So in 5 seconds, we'll come back to the midline, and we're going to stretch out our tricep in 2, 1. Let's bring it out of that stretch. Hand goes behind the back, and now we're pressing up against the elbow to keep it in position. Those knees are slightly bent. As we bring the arms overhead, the lower back tends to arch a little bit. So let's make sure we bend those knees a little bit, kind of taking that arch out of the back. I'll show you that from the side, kind of flatten things out. We don't want to hold this position here. I want you to kind of tuck under, little bend in your knees so you can just maximize working on that upper body stretch and that really increase in tension in that lower back. Continue to hold that position. We'll have 1 on the left side. We're going to little reset, and we'll take these stretches over to your right. So spending enough time in these stretches on each side so you can really feel yourself getting into that extension. That was your last second here. Let's go into a single arm crossover. So now we bring that left arm across, keeping the shoulder down and pressing against that elbow. Feel that stretch in the back of the shoulder. I want you to open your hands up as well, right? So really get that extension. Make sure you have the shoulder as far away from the ear as possible as you push through. We also want to make sure we keep our shoulders nice and square. So we don't want to twist on this one here. All right, so bend those knees, kind of settle into that position, and feel that great stretch in the back of the shoulder. We have another 10 seconds. We're going to hit a little reset, and we're going to take these stretches over to the other side, allowing you to kind of set up for the same success in stretching on your right side. Excellent job. From there, let's transition over. So remember, bending those knees, when we go into that lat stretch, you have two options. You can pull with that assisted stretch, right? Maximizing there. If that is too much, you can bring that hand on the waistline, and leaning over will probably do the trick for you. And again, as much as you're feeling those lats, you're also stretching out those obliques. So yes, you will feel that. Let's transition into that now, as this is our last series. Again, keep that shoulder down as much as you can from here. Option 2, bring that hand to the waistline. Maybe we need to open up on our stance just a little bit to make that more of a comfortable stretch, reaching over in that position. Breathing, check in with your breathing. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth in a nice controlled manner. You're finishing up your stretch series. We have 2 more after this for that tricep, that single arm crossover. Then we're going to go into a couple active movements for our cool down, just to kind of bring us back to normal or settled position after all that tension releases from the body. Get ready for that tricep extension. From here, we come back to the midline. Now we're going to bend that right arm. Go ahead and rest that left hand on top of that elbow. Feel that stretch running up. As I show you from this side and the other side, anytime the arms go up, again, it's a tendency to arch your back. I want you to kind of flatten that out. Kind of tuck those hips underneath, bending our knees, and feel that stretch running up the back of that right arm. Great release of tension in those triceps. Keep breathing, focusing on it. Again, bend those knees, feel that lower body kind of settling in, right? Kind of anchoring you down so you can focus on that upper body stretch. Got a few more seconds, 1 more to go. It's that single arm crossover where we bring that right arm across, shoulders are down, and make sure that you feel that press here. Make sure our shoulders are low as possible as you get that extension. It's a great stretch running all the way from your back into the back of that shoulder, that rear deltoid. This is our final stretch. Again, we'll have a few active stretches just to kind of get some flow, some mobility and movement back to close this out. Be a good cool down after all of these static stretches where we're holding. As much as we're improving flexibility right now, we are creating tension in other parts of the body. You want to kind of loosen it up in your cool down. You have your last 10 seconds. Our first move out will be arm circles. We're going to reverse arm circle first, so you'll swing away from your mirror, then we'll take it forward. Let's get that last second on that hold. All right, keeping your stance, just go ahead and swing the arms, going back away from your mirror. Keep those knees slightly bent. Again, we're just trying to get some movement and some space back in those shoulders. Let's go ahead and switch, bring that the opposite direction. Everything's done at a casual pace. Again, this is a cool down, just trying to get some flow and movement back in. As we go into our rotation now, I do want you to pivot your feet. All right, so just get that natural turn at the ankle. That is for ankle mobility. You're also getting spinal mobility, obviously, with that twist. Just let your arms swing across. As I mentioned in that warm-up, dynamic warm-up, you can keep that head forward and still rotate through, getting that same range of motion. Next up is a hinge and reach. Let's come back to our midline. We're going to drop down, letting your arms hang. You don't necessarily need to touch the floor. As you come up, you're going to get some extension, reaching up as much as possible while keeping the shoulders down. Nice controlled pace through this pattern. We're going to go with 2 more. Get that nice reach down. Exhaling up, full extension. 1 more here. All the way through and reaching. Now, we're going to bring our feet together, stepping back with our right leg. I want you to interlock your fingers. Get a quick pull, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Release, step, and switch. Now the opposite side. Get your foot set, interlocking, shoulders down. Feel that squeeze in the shoulder blades as you open up the chest. Shoulders, hip flexors. Let's do 1 more on each side. Get that right leg back, fully extended. 1 more time on the left, stepping back. Keep the shoulders down. Really open up the chest. And as we come back to the midline, excellent job working on that flexibility. Such an important component of fitness. You're amazing. I'll see you next time here on The Mirror.